I heard local talk radio reading out of the Houston Chronicle this morning, and it was the former, I guess she's current state rep, Susanna Hupp, doing the show along with the other host, and they were marveling and wondering aloud why $500 million a month in the state of Texas is given to people on Lone Star food stamp cards, and why they can get $50 cash back each time they go and buy cigarettes and liquor with it, and how a state study showed the majority of it was going to illegal aliens, where the state is told to accept the fake tax ID numbers, and so an illegal can walk in with 5 fake numbers and get 5 cards right there. Illegals can drink and drive, and they're left alone. The list goes on, because they're God. The government wants them here to drive down wages and vote for gun control and the destruction of this country. They work for the collaborator globalists that have taken over the nation. But I sat there for 30 minutes driving into work, and they just couldn't figure out why this was happening. Why they're getting rid of our Social Security, we're going bankrupt, but tens of billions of dollars a month is in food stamps. And they're running ads saying, come get your food stamps. Even if you have a job, you probably qualify. Because they want people dependent. And they want political armies that are dependent. Let me explain what this is. 5,000 years ago, let's pick a archaeological area. In the Tigris-Euphrates sector, they have found primitive pens and areas where humans began to domesticate, even before that, pigs and goats and sheep and horses and dogs and cats. And do you know how cultures domesticate animals? Well, one way to do it is to kill the parents and then hand raise the young, bottle raise the young. Or you can simply start bringing in animals and leaving food out for them, and then build a pen that they come into and eat out of. And then next time they come in to eat, you close the pen. Then you start hand feeding them once they're starving. That's how you domesticate animals. And see, that's what this is domestication. And Homeland Security in the last 2 years has announced they've just legalized all the illegal aliens by fiat. Congress is doing nothing. Just like they're shutting down our power plants. Congress wouldn't pass the law to do it, so Obama just did it. And there's the Houston Chronicle. Food stamps hit record level in Texas. And it's all over the country. And they will take your house if you haven't paid the property taxes. Well, most people paid for their houses, but they can't pay the property taxes because they're retired or whatever. The property taxes on a small house are like $5,000, $6,000 in Austin, where I live, much higher in other areas of the country. And then when they just come and they auction off your house, and then they come with police who kill you if you try to resist. So they're killing people, killing them if they don't pay their income tax to the private Federal Reserve, killing people if they don't pay the property tax that didn't exist till 60 years ago, killing people if they, drive through a toll road without paying. The cops chase you down. You're lucky if they don't beat you half to death for it because you're a piece of trash who's got to be kept in line. You're an American scum. You're a milk cow, slave, and you better learn it and get it through your head. But hey, boss, why do we care? We got plenty of food. Why do we want to gang up on all these ants? Because those ants outnumber us 100 to 1, and if they ever figure that out, that will end our way of life. That's what we're dealing with here. And I see the cops all amped up, driving around their motorcycles, looking back and forth, and the cops all looking crazed. And it's like, man, you think you're in Fallujah because they've been taught we're the enemy. But an illegal alien is the God. And I quite frankly am tired of it. And people say, oh, well, you just don't like the illegal aliens. Well, bingo. Yeah, I don't like the fact that they're teamed up with the globalists and above the law. And that they can start businesses and not pay taxes and get 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 welfare checks because the system only lets them engage in the open fraud and then drive around in giant brand new cars and have more than citizens do only because they're there in that niche as a weapon to drive down wages. Because, again, the system doesn't let citizens engage in that type of fraud. They throw the book at you. I mean, I saw that report that we could have broken. I'm just pointing out that we're here in Austin, that national story a few weeks ago, where the illegals, the IRS just gives them tax ID numbers, knowing as many as they want. Hey, you want 20 of those? And with each one, they get tax rebates. They get tax refunds. They get to sign up credit lines, and then they attach it to other people's Social Security numbers, and the banks accept that. They accept the fraud of the illegals. And now, California and a bunch of other states that already give more in-state tuition to illegals than they do people who are from the state. California is set to issue driver's licenses to young illegal immigrants. California is on the verge of allowing, well, Texas does that. I mean, they just give them to illegals, period. I mean, you can go in and get one. But if you're a citizen, you're treated like trash. You say, hey, why do I have to show 5 forms and thumb scan and all this? And she'll be like, trooper, I've been arrested going in there doing this. They'll come over and bow up and got a problem. This country's ours now, boy. It's ours now. We work for Goldman Sachs. Of course, they don't even know that. But that's the spirit of it. And California is on the verge of allowing hundreds of thousands of undocumented immigrants, they always start with one group, to receive a driver's license for the first time in nearly 2 decades. The key question is how to do it. They'll just do it like Texas and other states. I mean, hell, the police all over the country in 800-plus sanctuary cities already accept consular matriculars, and they've got consulates in Austin, in Houston, right here where I live. And I mean, if you go in there, it's pure nationalism. They teach in comic books that are handed out in Mexico that the Southwest belongs to Mexico, that white people are evil, and that the United States is going to be taken over. And again, this isn't even about Hispanics, whites. This is about a nationalism and a government that is being used by the globalists to help bring down the United States, help break down our culture and what we are, our diverse culture, with a bunch of nationalism, while the globalists are busy destroying Mexico as well, shipping the drugs into the country. And we shouldn't sit here and lie to ourselves about all this going on, but this is another example. Just like they said we're going to stop deporting illegals, and now they just let them go. They let aggravated felons go. The government decides. That is the bureaucracy, not the Congress. They even used, remember that article of Fox News AP a few years ago? Illegals were hired to build the border fence that's just for show. It's a total for show. Build a few miles here, a few miles there. They put giant open gates on it for the wildlife to go through. I mean, it's a joke. It's a total sickening joke. And I just bring this up to illustrate what an out-of-control, lawless criminal system we have that ships drugs into the country, guns out of the country, and guns to drug gangs around the U.S., and it comes out in federal court and nobody gets in trouble. Because the public is in a zombie trance state medically. The average person medically has a lower brainwave operating system. You can pull up the articles on this than they had 20 years ago. They're at a near sleep state, a daydreaming state. You say people don't talk to each other anymore? People look like they're in a daze? They don't look like they're in a daze. They're in one. And that's why you basically got these sharks, these piranhas swimming around in our society, dealing with victims who don't even know who they are. And then you put combat veterans on a bunch of serotonin reuptake inhibitors, and they start killing themselves and their families. Because that's what the drugs are designed to do. I'm telling you, there's no limit to evil. When you give in to evil, like our culture has, the worst of the evil goes to the top immediately, and that's why suddenly it's black uniforms, burning cities, mass death, slave work brigades, because to the psychopaths, that's beautiful. Little kids starving to death, crying in a cage with pus coming out of their eyes is so beautiful to the New World Order. You can go look up articles about decadent art the elite buy. It's all dead children, maggots, dead bodies, hanging in their private areas of their homes. Because this is who they are. They've come to kill. And they're killing everybody. You know, I was thinking about this yesterday before I go to your calls and the rest of the news. I'm going to cover this later in the second hour. About the, quote, stress vaccines that actually attack your brain so you can't feel emotion anymore. They're already testing these on the troops. They're testing all sorts of other drugs. And what's crazy is I went and saw a movie like the new Bourne film, The Bourne Legacy, and the whole thing beginning to end is totally accurate, exactly how things work. Never seen a movie like it. And What's crazy is everything in it is actually hidden in plain view, just compartmentalized. And we are in a softer stage of the brainwashing and chemical manipulation ourselves. But super soldiers, they train to be robotic and have super stamina and be able to operate 2 or 3 times longer. With us, we don't get the super soldier treatment. We get the estrogen mimickers, the toxins, the cancer viruses. So we're just addled and poisoned. So the globalist can operate with different treatments and avoidance schemes they have to be healthy while they sit there killing us. And even their minions aren't even part of this. They're compartmentalized. I'll tell you right now, somebody like Janet Napolitano, who's just busy all day running around, engaged in degeneracy, you know, with all her friends, she doesn't have even 1/2 the image. I've run into top globalists before, and they know some of it, but they don't even know all of it because they're lazy. They've been put in positions because they follow orders and don't think. We have reverse engineered the whole deal. And we are now in the position the globalists are in, but we don't want to carry out the evil. We now sit in a vantage point they sit in. The info war does. And I don't think I'm even worthy to be able to bring you this info, but no one else was able to reverse engineer it and create a platform to reach people. By the grace of God, we're here poised, able to do that and be able to communicate with you right now. But your food and your water that your children are eating has been weaponized. You are being killed. I mean, look at the statistics. Look at the numbers. The troops are being decommissioned with the suicides. It's designed that way. They know the drugs kill them. They're being decommissioned with the DU, just like you decommission a cannon by spiking it, letting the barrel. We are nothing but animals to the globalists. We are nothing but pure trash, filth, chattel. We are absolute garbage. And it's a real shame that the worst of our society has gotten in control, who don't just not mind killing us, they enjoy it with relish. They love burning cities and children dying of deformities from DU. They loved 14-fold increases in deformities in the troops' children. This is their art. This is their literature. This is their love letter to the devil. You got to work on the dark side, like Dick Cheney said. Well, I've seen the dark side, and it isn't a cheerleader dressed up in a devil outfit like you see on the back of people's cars. The devil's good-looking woman, voluptuous woman, wild eyes, lust. No. God gave us life and gave us sex and gave us all the pleasures. The devil delivers destruction. The parable of the genie. You ask for the ton of gold. You better say, I want a ton of gold placed in front of me. 10 feet. Your first wish is that you can do no harm to me or not have someone else do harm to me. When you're doing a contract with evil, ladies and gentlemen, you never get out of it except through Christ. There's no winning. There's no outracing the devil. All of you that are going to serve this system will be destroyed. And all that you've done to the little children will come back on you many times fold. And I'm here to tell you, there is a heaven and there is a hell. And you will pay. You know what hell is? It's spiritually being cast into a dimension with people like you. I use the analogy of Superman 2, where they put him into that plate of glass, that dimension, fire them off into space together. That's what hell is. Hell is real. But let me tell you the law of the universe. Even if you don't believe in heaven and hell, and all you believe in is the pain and the screams and the innocence that's music to your filthy ears, you need to understand something right now. You will be destroyed in this life. All the pain you bring to the innocents will be delivered to you many times over. Remember that and know it well.